Hello and welcome in. I am Greg Smith, recruiting extraordinaire for HailVarsity.com, and I'm back on the channel with another recruit interview. This time I am joined by four-star defensive end from Garland, Texas, Trey Wilson. Trey, thank you so much for taking some time out and being on. How are you, man?
Yes, sir. I'm good. I'm doing great.
All right, good. So the reason we wanted to have you on, Trey, is you were one of many recruits that were in town in Lincoln yesterday for Nebraska's red-white spring game. I guess first we'll start here. I guess what made you want to come out and check out the spring game?
So one of my coaches at school, he's actually a Nebraska alumni, Michael Booker.
Okay.
And he's been not bothering me, but he's just been like, go see it, go see it, go see it. So he was out there too. So I was like, okay, let's go out for the spring game and let's see what it is and see what he's talking about. So that was a big part of going out there.
Okay, so I guess so that's cool. So you have kind of a guide and somebody that has some familiarity with the place, and they're kind of pumping it up and letting you know. So then, what were the expectations like coming into it, and then what did you see when you came out?
So me personally, I've never been in Nebraska. So I was thinking like cornfields and 3 or 4 houses every 10 miles. But actually, Lincoln's a pretty good place, and it's urbanized a lot, more than I expected. Looks like it's a lot of stuff to do, but not too much to where you're going to be in trouble. So it looks like a perfect place if you're trying to just play football and get your degree.
Okay, that's cool. So that I guess what all did you get to see while you were here on campus?
So I saw all the facilities. We did a campus tour. Saw a little bit of the town. So I saw a good amount, enough for me to like understand that Nebraska isn't what everybody like portrays it to be. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. So did you get to? So then, what did you think about being able to see the game? Because I'm sure another one of those things that Booker told you about was about the fan base, right? So what was it like getting to see that and the people that came out for the spring game?
The crazy thing was, leading up to the game, they had just finished out meetings, and I was walking with Coach Chinander, the DC. He was like, "Yeah, this spring game sold out, by the way." And I was like, I turned around and I was like, "Are you serious?" I was like, because usually, you have like a couple, maybe 20,000 people, but he was like, "Yeah, 60,000 tickets, we sold them all." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So that just shows, it's spring. Football is not in season, of course, and still Nebraska fans came out and showed their love and support. And so I got there at about like 8 o'clock that morning too to start the visit, and people were already parked and tailgating and stuff like that. So.
Okay, so then what kind of impression does that make on you? When you come up and you see something like that, what does that tell you about a fan base?
That it's very strong, and on Twitter especially, I saw that beforehand before I went out there. When I first got the Nebraska offer, when I tweeted Nebraska stuff so on every now and then I tweeted the picture of me and Scott Frost yesterday. I got like 1,000 likes, and people, I don't know, a lot of people just like that stuff, I guess. I didn't think a lot. I posted it just because, but I didn't think that many people would see it. So.
Right. So that's funny. So I guess so you mentioned Coach Frost, you mentioned Coach Chinander. So what was it like being able to meet those guys in person after after having talked to them on the phone a lot?
Yeah. So it was an easy carryover. We've already got to know each other pretty well. Coach Dawson, especially the D-line coach, the DC Chinander, and then Coach Frost. I've talked to all 3 of them. They do a good job of communicating with me. We talk at least once a week. So it was smooth. Had a lot of great talks, especially with Coach Frost, just about Nebraska and what they're trying to build forward. Saw the new plans of the facilities and stuff like that. It should be state of the art. And me being a recruit, I've seen some pretty good facilities, and I've been to Michigan, and they're saying that it's going to be bigger than Michigan's, and I've been to Michigan's, and Michigan's is pretty big. So that just tells you how big it's going to be.
Okay, so you mentioned Michigan there. Like, what other schools would you say are recruiting you hard right now at this point?
Basically just schools from every conference. I wouldn't say anyone in particular, but basically schools from every conference. And I've been getting a lot of feedback from people. And this visit spree I've been on for the last couple of weeks has just been about going to see the places I haven't been and taking second trips. And at the end of the month, I'll be releasing my top schools May 1st.
Okay.
That Sunday, I'll release my top schools. So
Okay, I got you. So what schools have you visited here recently?
So I visited Baylor. It's right down the road. Oklahoma State, Stanford, Berkeley, Nebraska, Miami. Next weekend, this upcoming weekend, I'm going to Northwestern, and then the last weekend of the month, I'll be at Washington.
Okay. So that's a good range of schools there, kind of all over the place, like you kind of mentioned. Like, so is distance not something that is really factoring into your decision? Is kind of where you end up is where you end up?
Yeah. Basically, I want to be, I want to feel at home. You know what I mean? You could feel at home 1,000 miles away, 100 miles away, and it just the people. You know what I mean? It just depends on the people that I'm around and stuff like that. But going far doesn't bother me, and me and my family have the needs. We're blessed to. They can come see me, or I can come see them anytime willing. So.
Okay. So then do you have kind of a timeline in mind of when you would like to, start to be able to take your official visits?
So it's kind of tricky. I want to take like 2 or 3 this spring. Maybe I'm thinking 2 or 3, and then I want to take 2 during the season, but I also want to commit before the season.
Okay.
And just that being, I didn't get to go see a lot of games from that are like schools from far away. You know what I mean? Like schools that, because during football season and then having to fly out that Friday night and stuff like that, it was just a lot. So I didn't get to see a lot of people play in action. And to think about it, when you commit to a school, you want to commit because you want to know what the academics are like, what the football's like, what the team's like, but you also want to know what it's like on game days because that's where you're going to be playing. So that's something I wanted to see too. So we were probably going to save like 2 for the season just so we could see some games.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So I guess now as you kind of think back on this visit to Nebraska here yesterday, I guess what would you say is something or a couple of things that will stick with you the most about that trip?
It's a couple things. One, the staff seemed really well niched together. They felt like everyone was on the same page. The fan base is another thing. That's a big thing when you're talking about, trying to get internships, trying to get, jobs when you graduate. And that's when we go to, I know it's not the first thing you should think about when going to a school, but we also had NIL talks too with Coach Frost, and that was pretty good and interesting and just showing you that it's a lot of options here. And another thing I would just say, what they have coming. You know what I mean? They lost like 9 games within a touchdown last year in the Big Ten. They played a lot of great games and a lot of great teams that did well this year. So it's just a lot of stuff to think about.
Okay, I got you, man. Well, hey, Trey, I definitely appreciate the time, man. I'm sure we'll be talking in the future. And for you guys watching, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll be back with more recruiting coverage at hailvarsity.com.